Hey guys, my name's Amanda. Welcome to my channel. I'm so happy that you are here today. We have some fun and exciting Halloween DIYs, so let's get right into it. For the first one, we have these 3 little bottles, and all 3 of them cost me about $1. I'm so excited. So I found a Dollar Tree sign that had the bottles hanging off of it. I just simply cut the bottles off and set the sign aside so that I can go ahead and use it for another project. I flipped the bottles over and I took 2 Jenga blocks for each bottle and glued them together, and then I glued them to the back of the bottle. So I'm going to be using 6 Jenga blocks total, 2 on each one, to make them freestanding little bottles. So I'm just going to repeat the same process for each one and making sure that they stand up nicely so the Jenga block is flush with the bottom of the bottle, and that way I can use them as little standing decor pieces. I'm then going to wrap some Dollar Tree jute string or jute twine around the neck of each one, gluing when I start and when I finish. I'm then going to use some more of this little jute twine to form a little bow, just a little shoelace bow, like tying your shoelace, and then I will glue that to the front and trim off the little tails to the length that I like them and I think looks cute. And then I'm going to take these adorable little rub-on transfers from Dollar Tree and just choose ones that I think are appropriate for each bottle. So for spider venom, of course, I chose a couple of little spider rub-on transfers and just used my little Cricut tool to rub them on the front. Easy peasy, and it just takes it up a notch and just makes them look adorable. And then I do the little poison one with some little bottles, and there we go, you guys. This is so easy, so quick, and I think it's adorable for a tiered tray. So let's talk about today's challenge. My friend Corie over at CraftedbyCorie hosts this challenge every month. It is so awesome. She is so talented. She is such a great creator, and she'll be linked below if you want to check out her channel as well as the playlist for this challenge. Let's get into DIY number 2. I'm going to show you how I created this little truck and trailer with Dollar Tree products. So I took this Dollar Tree little tiny truck, plain wood truck, and a crate along with a little wicked sign that comes 3 to a pack. I began by painting this crate with some Dollar Tree black chalk paint, and I glued 4 little beads that I had in my stash onto the bottom to act as my wheels. I then went ahead and painted my wicked sign with plaster, and I painted my hat with orange Waverly chalk paint. I glued that on the front of that crate. I then took a spare piece of wood that I had. I believe it came off the crate, but you could use a popsicle stick or a craft stick, and I painted that with that same black chalk paint. I also painted my truck with the same black chalk paint. I then glued that little stick or piece of wood onto the back of the truck. There is a little ledge in these particular trucks, and I just glued it onto there, and then I glued the other end onto the bottom of my crate. I then turned it over and did some detailing on my little wicked sign by painting detailing the hat with my black Sharpie. I just did little tiny stitching around the hat just to add a little cute touch. And then I went ahead with some more rub-on transfers. I had these cute little jack-o'-lanterns. It was a little bit too big, so I just cut off that third one, and then I take these 2 and I use my little Cricut tool to rub them onto the front of the truck. Then I'm going to use my white paint pen to fill in these tires. I didn't really like how it looked, so I did go back over the tires with my plaster chalk paint, and there you can see they're filled in a little bit better. And then I take what is left on my brush of that plaster chalk paint, and I just lightly distress my truck to give it the look that I like. I also distress the little trailer part, the tires, and everything else. I do the other side to match. Now here you're going to see me put some skulls and bones in the front of the truck. I do end up removing them as I just think it's too much, and I just leave them in the trailer. But this is an idea of what you could do if you like that look. So here I'm going to take a minute to tell you thank you so much for stopping by my channel. I really appreciate you. If you have not subscribed, please consider subscribing and joining our little family. If you're already subscribed, you are amazing. Thank you so much for all of your support. And please stay tuned because we have some really fun and exciting things coming up. So here I'm just filling some skulls in the little trailer part. And I do leave those because I think that those are absolutely adorable. So the skulls come in a bag from Dollar Tree, and then you can also get these little bones. So I do take several of these little bones and tie them together with some jute twine. I just thought that looked cute to have a little bundle of bones in there. So some of them I just place in there, and like I said, some I will be making a little bundle of bones right here just by tying the jute twine around it and making a tiny little bow and just sticking it in there. I just think that that is cute. I love the little details, so I just put a little dab of hot glue on the back to get that to lay exactly in the angle that I want it to lay, and then just finish filling this in. This was so easy and it is so customizable. I just think it's really cute to add a little touch if you have a very wide tier tray, or you can put it in front of your tier tray, or if you wanted to do it in 2 pieces, of course you could do that as well. So this is what it looks like, and I hope you like it. Let's get right into DIY number 3. For DIY number 3, I'm going to show you how we made this little witch's hat, Mom's best hat. I took a party hat from the Dollar Tree that comes several to a pack. Originally, I was going to use this little wreath charm, so I'm preparing it here. I decided against using it, and I actually opted for a mini cookie tin lid, but this is an idea if you do not have a mini cookie tin lid of something that you could use. Now I'm just going to take my party hat and I'm just going to cut a little slit in it and then cut off the bottom. So you can really make your hat as tall or as short as you want it. So I just get the height that I think looks good, and I am measuring it against this wreath charm because again I was originally going to use the wreath charm. So now I'm just trimming my hat down and trying to make it so that it sits flush on the bottom, and I get a nice flush look with whatever I'm using as my hat brim. And then once that is all done, I'm actually going to take apart the hat where it kind of joins the cone part, and I'm just going to tighten it a little bit because it was pretty loose once I had trimmed it. And once I get it exactly how tight that I want it, I'll just use little dabs of hot glue to hold that closed, and I'll just hold it closed with my fingers until it dries. I do recommend using finger protectors or a silicone spatula. My fingers aren't really sensitive, so most of the time I either forget or I just don't worry about it. But I do recommend that you do that. So then I'm just taking this burlap ribbon from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to be winding it around this hat. Now I will be using several different strips. I will be winding, gluing, cutting, and then winding some more. Now this is not supposed to look neat and tidy. It is a Rustic witch's hat. I wanted to give off some vintagey feels, so let me know in the comments if I accomplished that. But here I am just putting a second little piece on there, wrapping it around, gluing it down. Now, when we go ahead and we paint this burlap, it will get a little bit stiffer and everything will come together a little bit better. We will also be stuffing this hat with some paper towel to make it not quite so flimsy. So you'll see that here in a minute, but I'm just going to continue gluing pieces of this burlap on until I am happy with the look, gluing everything down. If there's anything hanging off of the bottom, I either tuck it under or I just trim it off. So here I am kind of fussing with that, getting it exactly how I want it and how I think it looks nice. And then after I am done with that, I will be taking my Dollar Tree chalk paint, and I will be painting this entire thing. So here's where I decided that I was going to use that little mini cookie lid, and that little cookie tin is actually from Christmas from Dollar Tree last year, and those cookies are delicious. So there's a little side note, but now I just take regular paintbrush and this paint, and I am just kind of dabbing and using very generous amounts so that it kind of goes through the burlap, and it just gives everything this nice coated look. You could paint your hat first, but it's really not necessary. You can't really see through once I am done. I'm also going to paint the lid of my cookie tin that I'm choosing to use. And here you see me just bunching up a couple of paper towels and pushing them into my little party hat witch's hat to make it stand nice and just making it not quite so flimsy. Here I'm putting a little bit of hot glue around the bottom, and then I will be placing it in the middle of my cookie tin lid. Then once that is done, we have the base of our little witch's hat here, and here's what it looks like so far. You can go back in with a second layer of paint once the first layer dries, which is what I did just to make sure that none of that party hat is shining through. Then I just took some fabric that I really liked, and I'm going to be going around the hat where the top of the hat and the brim meet, just to give it a cute little band or a little border there. Now mine doesn't attach in the front, but I don't worry about that because I'm going to have a little bow there. So now I'm going to create the bow, some scraps of burlap and some more scraps of this ribbon, and this is actually a couple of pieces of Dollar Tree mop that I will kind of peel apart a little bit once it is tied into this bow. So here I am just layering everything in a a crisscross fashion to create this bow. And once I get it all layered the way I want it, I will tie it off with some Dollar Tree jute twine. Once that is done, I can then glue it on the front of my little witch's hat where that little gap is in the band, and then I can create my little tag. So for my little tag, I just used a Dollar Tree domino wood piece. I made a little hole in it, painted it with my black chalk paint, and wrote "Mom's Best Hat." I then attached that onto my bow, and that is what it looks like. I hope you guys like that one. Now let's get right into DIY number 4, this cute and adorable little booth sign with some ghosts on it from Dollar Tree. This costs under $2, and I think it's really cute. So I took this little tray from Dollar Tree. I took some large craft sticks from Walmart. I put one on either side to go ahead and cover up that little handle part of the tray. So I just cut it to size and then used my hot glue to glue it over those little holes. I then painted the outside and the inside frame part of this with my black Dollar Tree chalk paint. I then put Mod Podge on the inside bottom and used some of my fabric from Dollar Tree that I had cut to size to fit in there. Any additional extra that's hanging over, I just used my X-Acto knife to trim it out. I then took these little Dollar Tree ghosts. I filled in the holes with some wood putty, and I took this little booth sign from Dollar Tree that comes in a 3-pack. I cut the little explanation mark off of the boo sign, and I painted the boo with that black chalk paint. I then made some stitching with my white chalk pen from Dollar Tree, and I did paint my ghosts with some Waverly plaster chalk paint once those holes were filled in. And then I just go all around these little letters with this stitching. It just adds a really cute little touch to it, and I love how it looks. So here are my little ghosts after they are painted, and then I just take a black Sharpie and I go around the little scallops of the ghosts and just kind of add some little squiggly stitches along those sides, and that makes them look cute as well. I then place the boo inside of my little wooden box there, kind of a little bit more to the left hand side, and then I position one of my little ghosties in the right hand corner, and then I position one on the bottom left, just making carefully sure that my little standing sign will still be able to stand up and that the ghost is not preventing it from standing nice nicely. And then I take another little ghost and I trim him to size to fit in the other corner. I just kind of cut off a little of one side and the bottom, and then he looks like he's popping out, which I think is really cute. So I place some glue on the little box sign and then just place my little ghosty on top, and then I trim another ghosty down so that he looks like he is popping. Well, I think this one's actually going to be a she, popping out of the top there. Then I made two more of my little teeny tiny layered bows and popped them on top of the ghosts that I decided should be girls. And then for my little boy ghosts, I give them little neckties with a little shoelace bow. And this was so easy peasy, but I think it is really cute and I think it looks adorable on a tiered tray. So here I'm going to share with you some little houses I had found at Goodwill that were just plain white, and my 14-year-old son painted the roof of one black, and then he painted the other one black with a white roof, and he put some Dollar Tree stickers and transfers, and I just think these are adorable, so I wanted to share that. So here's what everything looks like with a little Dollar Tree tree that I had done in a previous video that I will link below. And I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope that I gave you some inspiration, and hopefully I will see you again very, very soon. Take care, friends.
You can subscribe to my mom's channel, and thank you for watching today's craft and stay safe.